Hello everybody and welcome to the Whiskey Dictionary. We're going to be talking about all of the Irish whiskeys that I've reviewed on the channel in 2023. Now most of these would have been from March because I do Irish Whiskey Month every year in March. And that's a bit of a love-hate thing I've got going on with the channel. I personally love reviewing them and you all seem to hate me doing them. And I'm mostly going off of the views. I think it's more that people don't realize how awesome Irish whiskey is, and I think that's something that needs to change, and I will continue to do Irish Whiskey Month every March because you all need to know how good Irish whiskey is. So let's go ahead and talk about what I reviewed this year. Might be a little awkward talking about Gold Spot after that little thing I just said about all Irish whiskeys are great, because this one's not so great. It's fine. Honestly, it's fine. But the problem is this is a 9-year-old Irish whiskey, pot still, fantastic, but when you compare it to their normal lineup, I don't think this is even better than the Green Spot. And the Green Spot is a fantastic contender. It's actually kind of not an insult to say it's not as good as the Green Spot because it's just such a high bar. But Gold Spot is their celebration of their 135th anniversary, which that alone is a little bit of an awkward anniversary to celebrate, I suppose. But whatever, you need to celebrate stuff, I guess, as a business. So when you're considering that they put this out, and this is going to cost probably about $200 nowadays if you want to try to go buy this, I just don't think it's worth it. I don't even think it was worth what I paid for it. And frankly, I don't remember. It was probably a little over $100, maybe $130. But it's just totally not worth it. It was like a ho-hum release, and they're doing it as a celebration. So this one gets to ignore it. If you could try it, go for it just because, but I don't think you're missing anything here. If you're not the kind of person that has to have all the colors, then just ignore it. What a surprise Bushmills 12 is, right? When you think about Bushmills, at least, people who have been drinking whiskey for a long time, you're going to be thinking of Bushmills, the white label one, the black label one, maybe even the red label one, which, fun fact, I was just looking it up. I don't think that exists anymore. So I'm not heartbroken about that because I didn't think it was very good anyway. But that being said, I was surprised to see it was gone. Here's the thing. Bushmills has been putting out age-stated whiskeys for a little while now, and they're great. They're kind of showing what Bushmills is really capable of. And I personally have not tried the slew of different 10 years that they have. It looks like they're kind of doing some barrel aging on their 10 years, which is awesome. I'd love to try those sometime. But the 12, this really, to me, is showing what Bushmills is capable of. I mean, it's not proper 12, of course. Proper 12 is junk. But this is fantastic. The 12 is fantastic. And frankly, at the price point, it's going to be a good buy. You should check this one out. I gave it a buy it. I'm going to keep it at a buy it, and I think you'll love it. The Redbreast Lustau is one that I had been wanting to pick up for years, and I simply had never really seen it in my area, or the couple times I did, I just didn't buy it for whatever reason. And then it seemed like they scaled back production during the pandemic, obviously unrelated, but they just did. And so when I finally saw this, I decided to purchase it, and during my review, I gave it a buy it. And I still stick by that, but as I was rewatching my review, I realized I gave it kind of like this tentative buy it, and I was thinking about why. So I tried a little bit more, and I started thinking, I was like, okay, so maybe it's just, this doesn't taste anything like Irish whiskey. It tastes like a sherried scotch with like a hint of Irish whiskey, a little pot still spice in there. And I love that, but that might not be for everybody. So I'm still going to give it a buy it, but you should go into this knowing that if you're not a fan of sherried scotches or pot still whiskeys, you might not like this. Moving along in the Redbreast, we've got Redbreast 15. Now, this is another one that was something I had been putting off buying. You hear that a lot on this channel. It's mostly because I just put off buying everything. I just buy whatever sounds good at the time. I really treat myself. So the Redbreast 15 was exactly that. It was a treat. And as I've drank this over the months or whatever, this has continued to be fantastic. This is a buy it all the way through. Buy it when you see it. This is something I'm probably going to try to keep on hand. I wouldn't quite call it a stock it, but I solidly give this buy it. The Redbreast 21 is one that I was pretty excited to try this year. It comes in this really cool box. It's something I kind of treated myself to, and it was a bit of a treat, but it also, to me, didn't live up to the hype. When I consider what I gave this back in the past, I said try it, and I think that's a better move. I think this was about $220, which is the amount that I never spend that much on a whiskey for myself. Frankly, I just can't make that happen. So, check out the Patreon if you want to help support the channel. But $220 for a bottle of whiskey for me is not something I do very, very often. And when I did and I tried this, it kind of had to live up to the hype, and it just didn't. Especially considering I would buy the 15 10 times over before I'd buy this again. I just think the 15 is that much better. Now comes the two last Irish whiskeys that I did. I did the Bushmills 25 and the Bushmills 30. Now, you'll notice that they're both basically empty. I pretty much, even though they're just little samples, I kept them just for this video. So let me talk about the 25 first. With the 25, this is about a $900 bottle. And Bushmills was very, nice. They sent these to me and everything. And when I talked to them about it, I was like a little disappointed, right? $900 for a bottle of whiskey. I get it's 25 years old. That is old, but it's not outlandishly old. It's, in my opinion, not $900 old. It's more like $500 old. So when we more think about the flavor here, there was nothing wrong with the flavor, but it also wasn't blowing my socks off. It just didn't really do it for me. It was kind of a little bland, honestly. And so it just didn't do it for me. I would skip this one personally, the 25. Now the 30, this is going to be a complicated answer. The 30 was amazing, but it was also $2,200. So that's a decision you need to make up for yourself. As far as what I kind of rated, it's also 46%. So I mean, keep that in mind. The rating I gave this was basically no rating. I couldn't rate this one because there's no way that I can give you a value, concept for what you can spend on whiskey versus what I can spend on whiskey versus what I think a $2,200 whiskey should taste like. There have been very few times I've had whiskey that is worth that much. And the few times I have, they've all been vastly different. So I can't even say like, oh, well, this was better than the Dreamcast or something, which even the Dreamcast is less expensive than this. So anyway, the 30-year-old Bushmills was wonderful. I loved the flavor. It was fantastic and probably going to finish this week now that I've filmed this review. But $2,200 makes the decision for you. And whatever that decision is your decision. All right, that does it for the Irish whiskeys this year. I've only got a couple more whiskeys to review, so tomorrow's World Whiskey is going to be very short. But we'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.